Greetings, beautiful souls. It is Kathleen from Universal Empowerment, and we're back today with our Day 5, House 5 series from our 12 days of learning how to read your birth chart, energetics, and the houses. The joyful space of the 5th house holds the simple pleasures of being alive. It reflects your creativity and where you feel confident and free. It is the natural home of the self-assured Leo, ruled by the sun, where you naturally radiate and shine. House 5, wherever it is for you, is where you can find fun and confidence in your life. You can feel empowered to take risks. The key words for the 5th house: self-expression, joy, confidence, passion, and creativity. We also experience in House 5 laughter, play, romance. It's about our relationship to children, and it's also about nurturing our own inner child. It's of importance to prioritize simple and fun engagement in the world, and enjoy your physicality and expression of your authentic self. It's your highest offering to the world. Creativity and love have a lot in common. To freely create, we need to step into the unknown. And anyone that's fallen head over heels in love knows that it's the biggest leap into unknown that any of us will ever make. The most magical thing about being human is that we can constantly bring creativity to the forefront. And when it comes to the elements that are the strongest for you to bring forth your gifts and challenges to the realm of creative expression, a fire type sign, creative, can start a bonfire of creativity without even blinking. And earth friends, they help everyone to stay on course and complete projects that they've started. Our water partners help us to remember to allow space for our feelings to flow through in our creativity, and air fuels us with original ideas. And when it comes to the creative expression, we're invited by the 5th house to create like little children create. From your childlike curiosity and natural wonder in play and in love. Not from goals or deadlines that are subject to anyone else's approval. Whatever elements are the strongest for you, bring forth both gifts and challenges to the realm of creative expression. And sometimes knowing what astrological sign sits on the cusp of your 5th house can help you to start your creative flow. If you want to have more fun and enjoy committing to being creative every day for no other reason than it gives you access to your positive, childlike nature. And the 5th domain is also about romantic love. And we can look at romance through the lens of the elements, and this will help us to understand its natural stages. Fire element always starts with a spark, a look, a gesture, a word. Seemingly out of the blue, everything around the person becomes vibrant. You can't wait to see the person, the object of your love or attention or affection. You can't wait to hear their voice. Everything starts to mobilize and it gets organizing around contact with the object. And for earth signs, this is where you move from fantasy to the true experience of love and romance. And still in the very beginning phase of newness and innocence, you might just start flirting and using flattery. And in this stage, you want to look and also feel your best, so you start dressing nice for your beloved. You're elevated by your contact with this new person, and you feel as though you could do just about anything. New love powers an array of interest, and it fuels your days with flirting and flattery. It gives you a reason for even little gift giving that sometimes leads to seeing how you truly feel. Water is when we move into full-on idolized love, that amazing feeling of rightness. And it coincides with fantasy about what this connection could be or could mean. There's all the possibilities for the glorious sensual and also the physical consummation. When everything falls into place, it feels like it was meant to be. And if you're lucky, you'll spend a generous amount of time in that stage of newness. And then there's air in the next stage of romantic love. The mind is unleashed with fears, with insecurities, and this phase always brings us mental doubts and questions about questions. It brings about jealous or mistrustfulness that may creep in and start to become a concern. Where it's all going, and when everyone eventually falls off that pedestal. And a lot of times there's disappointment, and there's also a lot of emotional hurt. And then in comes the fire element again. This time it's when conflicts start to rise around the different needs, the different wants, the different desires, and concerns about time and money and sharing of responsibilities. And then down comes the idolized image that you created of each other. And then you start to see everyone's real selves, true colors begin to shine through. And also with that comes the damming up of feelings, and the feeling zone becomes a real minefield of possible repression and sometimes explosion, which then brings you to the next element again. Back to getting real and doing the work. And what are you doing here? And who are you to each other? Who are you in this relationship? It's time to examine each of you and what your values are. And what values do you share? And as you begin this stage of discernment with Earth, it's starting to look deeper into the reality of being human. And if you're skillful, you'll start to manage your emotions better, choosing to talk about your feelings, be more vulnerable and more brave. And if you can make it past this stage, then you'll have a more grounded idea of what's possible, and you can start planning for the future, which will bring forth a whole new evolved version of the relationship. And then the air can fuel more new ideas. And you can Share them and create reliable routines and structure and even rituals that define you as a pair. And then it's time to move to the final stage, when you engage in the most thoughtful, challenging, and difficult, but the one that yields the most incredible readiness, growth, and depth of connection, the return to the water element. With compassion, with forgiveness, with vulnerability and transparency. And then no matter what you do, if your romantic love lasts through this point, loss and trauma will be part of the journey. And there even may be despair, extreme feelings of hopelessness, or just a realization at the daily life. Even in love saddled in heavy responsibilities and hardships sometimes comes about. You'll have the dark night of the soul, and sometimes one will have it. And then sometimes your other will have it. But you'll be there to support each other through it, to hold each other up, to bring out the best in each other, to be each other's biggest, greatest fan. And then you really have to learn and depend on each other, but not in a codependent way, but learn a new interdependent way where both of you can lean on the warmth of the fire element in the 5th house. And instead of falling in love, you'll be growing in love. And that's a beautiful thing. Love always happens through the stages of elements, no matter where you are in terms of romance. You can bring more 5th element love into your world. Start writing loving, expressing letters, texts, emails, and letting the ones that you really care for know how you feel. Allow space for creativity and love and feelings to flow. And that's it for the 5th house and the elements. I hope you liked my video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll be back on day 6, house 6, and I'll see you there. Namaste.